Welcome to India.
Thank you very much.
Women are often asked to direct like the female movies, the ones with the big female stars. And if I can lead by example and just show people that women are interested in telling all kinds of people's stories. I mean, nobody shies away from men telling women's stories.
She called me the next day and said, "Do you want to read this crazy thing that I'm going to do?" And I was like, "Sure." And I was like, "Whoa, this is really crazy." And she's like, "Uh-huh, you want to do it?" I was like, "Sure." Yeah, he knows that I get shy around people. I got to wear this helmet, and so I wouldn't take it off in the shooting of Star Wars. And he was like, "Don't you want to take that off?" I was like, "No, this is awesome."
Hello, everyone. I'm Rudrani, and welcome to Speak Easy. My guest today is phenomenal. She has made eclectic choices, and I believe that she can pretty much do anything. I'm talking about, of course, the very talented Elizabeth Banks. Thank you for joining in, and welcome to India.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Really excited. I meant every word of what I just said in the introduction. What a crazy ride this movie is, Elizabeth. Do I see the Evil Dead fangirl with all the gory scenes? Do I see her there?
One of my first directors I fell in love with on a movie set was Sam Raimi. I was in his Spider-Man movies. I loved watching him work on set. I took a lot from working with him, and I love Evil Dead. I'm so happy when people see the references in the movie. It absolutely, tonally was a great reference point for us, right? It's like, it's just got a lot of fun, and it's exciting, and there's all the blood and the gore in it. Yeah, 100%.
I'm glad I spotted it then. But, Elizabeth, I don't know. I'm sure Marvel needs to call you. I know that you wanted to direct Thor Ragnarok. And I mean, if they see this film, I pretty much believe you can direct anything. But tell me what your thoughts on that are.
Oh man, I really was just talking about the kinds of characters that I love. I was asked about doing a big Marvel or DC movie, and to me, it's always about the characters. Like who is the best character, and can I tell a really unique, fun story with that character at its heart? That's what I'm looking for. I don't really I'm interested in IP, but really only if I can create with a character that I think doesn't take himself too seriously. That's what I loved about Thor. I think he's just perfectly played by Chris Hemsworth. So, Taika Waititi did a pretty good job with that movie, though. So I'm gonna have to move on and let that one go.
But in general, the question's context also is the way female directors are particularly looked at, right? And the expectation of what they can and they cannot direct. I hope that eventually changes. I'm sure you must have faced the brunt of that.
Well, for sure, I think women are often asked to direct like the female movies, the ones with the big female stars. And if I can lead by example and just show people that women are interested in telling all kinds of people's stories. I mean, nobody shies away from men telling women's stories. So I just hope that we open more doors to storytellers of all walks of life when it comes to like whose story they want to tell and how they can relate to that character. To me, that was just the kind of character that I think is really fun. And I think that would be surprising to some people. Like, oh, but you didn't want to do, XYZ female character. I would maybe like to do that too, but like I really think that kind of guy was just like up my alley. That's all.
I want to say I'm still rooting for Charlie's Angels, and I think it was brilliantly directed.
Thank
you. You were very good in it. I want to know how you also bounced back from that, and you didn't let that sort of bog you down, even though everybody makes such a big deal of the fact that it didn't work at the box office. So I want to end with that.
Look, that movie came out in a moment in time when nobody was going to the theater. We were learning how to watch movies on streaming services. And I think also because it wasn't like Drew and Cameron, people were confused. Like, is this even still a Charlie's Angels movie? I think I made a movie that I love, that I'm really proud of. I love showing off the comedic chops of Kristen Stewart. I mean, I don't think people think of her as a funny actress, but I delighted in her. And introducing Ella Balinska to the world, working with Patrick Stewart, who's like one of the all-time greats. So I had an amazing time, and all I can do is put the movie that I want to see in theaters together, and the rest of it, that's out of my hands, There's nothing I can do about that. I know that people enjoy that movie. I hear about it all the time. I get tweets about it, and I hear, from moms and daughters who love to watch that movie together. And that's who I made it for. I didn't make it for critics, and I didn't make it for the box office, because I can't control those things.
Absolutely. Thank you on that note, Elizabeth. Very, very proud of the choices you make. And I hope you continue doing crazy things because you're good at it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was wonderful to watch Jesse and you collaborate again. So family, modern family all the way, right?
We've been friends for 25 years. So yeah.
Very special and extremely talented. And of course, talking about Keri Russell. Keri, thank you for joining in.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, again, I'd like to say welcome to India.
Thank you very much.
I hope we get to do this in person next time. But
I hope so too. That'd be wonderful.
That'd be wonderful. Again, I'm going to start off by saying that I remember, when you were doing the role in Star Wars, you had mentioned about how comfortable the anonymity made you. And, to paraphrase somewhere when I was reading about J.J. Adams' quote, and you as well, where he spoke about it gives you a sense of comfort and how you're uncomfortable with representing yourself around the work that you have to do as yourself. Could you explain to me a little more on that? I mean, and also the audience who's listening in, because it's so reflective of who you are, because you only want to focus on your work. And I think those less choices that you've been making and, very specific ones are proof.
Well, I think what JJ was talking about was I got to wear that helmet in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I've known JJ for many, many years, and he knows that I get shy around people. And but I got to wear this helmet, and so I wouldn't take it off in the shooting of Star Wars. And he was like, "Don't you want to take that off?" And I was like, "No, this is awesome. This is my dream come true. I get to hang out, but I can see everybody, but no one can see me." And he was like, "You are crazy." But it was also it was like a whole tough, cool girl costume. So I enjoyed it very much. But yeah, I mean, and getting to do different things, that's the magic of this business, this circus life business. One job, this crazy, ridiculous movie we are shooting in Ireland, doing ridiculous things in the woods with Margot Martindale and Jesse Tyler Ferguson, and pretending a bear is eating everyone's faces off. I mean, it was out of control. And then, you do something else and you're learning about spycraft, and it's very serious and kind of sexy, and that's the fun of this business, learning all the different things, meeting all the different people. And
you always said that you obviously feel fulfilled because you have children, you have a life, and so you don't look for that certain kind of stardom and you're secure. A little comment on that, and of course the mama bear reference here, it's very evident, right? Like you protecting in the film your kids, and that feeling, and here the bear doing the same.
Yeah, I think I love the level I am right now. I get to work every once in a while. I feel like I get to do really great projects, but I like shutting down too. I like working really hard for 6 months, and I also like 6 months of just walking kids to school, doing laundry, doing back tickles at night, getting everyone to bed, making dinner. To me, it's getting to do both, and I really cherish and love the boring times at home, and that's what makes going away fun. I think if I'm not ambitious enough to want to do it all the time, I like a little bit, but I like to come back to my regular life too.
And of course, the mama bear reference here in the film.
Yeah, I think, so my job, yes, in this movie is just to mama bear and go get those kids. Go get them safe, and when that guy shows up with guns, I'm like, we're going home. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm taking these kids home, and you can go do what you need to do. Yeah.
I think you're great at it. I really, really enjoyed it. And I must say, crazy to watch both you and both Elizabeth and you, in this collaboration, you both have eclectic choices. I think it made sense for you all to finally come together, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've known each other just socially for a while, and we were actually on the phone about a different project that we were collaborating on, totally different than this. And she called me the next day and said, "Do you want to read this crazy thing that I'm going to do?" And I was like, "Sure." And I was like, whoa, this is really crazy. And she's like, you want to do it? I was like, sure.
I love that.
Yeah.
Waiting to see much more of it. Thank you so much, Keri. And
Thank you
lots
very
of love from India.
Thank you.